off a quote, a couple of quotes, and I want you to tell me what they mean to you. Richard Armour said, the American poet, said that politics, it seems to me, for years or all too long, has been concerned with right or left instead of right or wrong.
False paradigm. We're all Americans. You know, the whole left-right thing is used to cause, these bitter rivals between people who don't even realize that they're being rivals. It's just, the 9/11 Truth Movement is a perfect example of why the left-right paradigm is a false paradigm, because we come from all different political ideologies: Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Green Party, black, white, Jewish, Christian, Catholic. We all come together for this issue, and they don't like when we all come together, so they have to keep that left-right paradigm, even though the Democrats and the Republicans, for the most part, are two sides of the same coin.
I got tons of quotes here, but I'm trying to think of the best one. I usually follow it up wherever you're going with it. This one's really plays into it. Plato said one of the penalties for refusing to participate in politics is that you end up being governed by your inferiors. And he later refined that with those who are too smart to engage in politics and don't end up being punished by being governed by those who are dumber.
There's a newer saying, you better become interested in politics before politics takes an interest in you, which is basically the same thing. And I agree with that. I mean, the whole civil liberties thing, I don't know if I'm being wiretapped. I assume I am, because I'm a high-profile dissident in the 9/11 Truth Movement. I don't like the idea that I might be being wiretapped. It's just, yeah. So the newer saying, which is basically the same thing, is what comes to mind.
So, Charles de Gaulle said that in order to become the master, the politician poses as the servant. I just interviewed Richard Grove, and he talked about, look at the financial side of this, the insider trading, the drug connections. And I've talked to so many people in this movement. I've gone through so many things mentally and emotionally, hearing just about everything, I'm sure you're familiar with. And one of the things I notice that people that we confront are people say, oh, well, this can't happen because that's too evil. Like, people can't, like, that's inhuman. But you look at the terminology, human and inhuman, doesn't make any sense, as we heard today.
Well, I think that people in power today are people just like you and me. They're capable of jealousy, they're capable of greed, they're capable of all kinds of, sins, I guess you'd call them. Just because they're in office does not mean they're gods. Just because they're in office and we question them, it doesn't make it blasphemous. I was on the Opie and Anthony show years ago talking about 9/11, and Anthony said, to even think that our government would be capable of something like that is absolutely ridiculous. And, it's the blasphemy issue. It's blasphemous to question your government. You know what? My government is not made up of gods. They're made up of people. And it is our duty as citizens to question them when they do questionable things.
Happen periodically today. If you had to leave us off with a message of direction, where would you say the Truth Movement is going?
The movement has to number one, it has to get its story straight. You know, there are a multitude of stories in this movement of what people think happened. After 6 years of doing this, I don't know what happened. I do not know what happened. I am 100% sure that elements within our government were complicit. I just don't know how they did it. So I think the movement needs to make that the issue that the investigation that we received was a farce, that there needs to be a new investigation, that we should support the family's call for an investigation, that we should support the responders, that we should put forward the best information possible at all times, because, you know, as I said earlier today, 2,973 people were murdered, and we speak for them because they can't do it anymore. And I want people to be more serious. I want people to stop trying to theorize about everything, because if this movement becomes a theorizing movement, then, you know, 30 years from now, we're going to be, 9/11 is just going to be a casual conversation in a bar, just like the magic bullet theory of JFK, and that can't happen. Daniel Hopsicker talked about the further away we get from the day, the harder it is to get to the truth. And, you know, we're 7 years away already, and we can't allow this to continue. We can't allow this to go on without knowing. You know, I would love to see, I'm sick of the absolutionists who think you must believe what I say or you're a shill. That bullshit has to stop. You know, we're all on the same team here, and you can't, you know, the crazy, it's not hard to differentiate what sounds crazy and what doesn't sound crazy. Space beams are exotic weaponry, TV fakery, mini nukes, pods on a plane, all kinds of things sound crazy to people. So what is the purpose of promoting that information? Other than to destroy our credibility. So, you know, try to promote the best information possible. You are speaking for 2,973 dead people, 300 million Americans, 6 billion humans living on this world. You have to be responsible when you speak with regards to this issue. Thank you. That's the direction. I want people to be responsible. I want people to have the same goal. I don't want egos to overtake, you know, the movement. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, and yet I was able to figure this out. So people, you know, if you say the right things, other people will pick it up as well.